About 5 years ago, I received a phone call from a woman who knew that she needed help, but she didn't know what kind of help and where to go. After talking to her for a while, I realized that not only was she in a physically abusive relationship, but she was also under some serious financial and psychological and mental control from her husband. She'd been in a relationship with him for 15 years. They were childhood sweethearts. They had 2 kids together. And along the way, as he decided that he could study and meet his dreams, and then promised that she would be able to study so that she could meet her dreams, there were many stops to her ever flourishing. That day when she called, she was using our women's support service. This service acts as a soft landing, a first point of contact for a lot of women. Sometimes it takes a huge amount of courage for women to go directly to an organisation that deals with domestic violence, like, so let's say Women's Refuge or Shine. Sometimes they come to us because they might think, okay, well, I can at least talk to these women, but we do more than just listen. That day I navigated her to a lawyer for low-cost legal support, also counselling services. She came back a few months later, having successfully left the relationship with her 2 kids intact and her house that she wanted to live in. So all of those are successes. Her next need was to connect with other women who were in a similar situation, but other women who were also single parenting. So she joined our single parents, single mum support group, and through that she met another woman who taught her how to drive. So not knowing how to drive was one of the ways in which her husband had limited her. Really easy to keep you at home if you don't know how to drive, check your emails, check your phone calls, isolate you from your whānau as well as your friends. These are all the things that she was dealing with. So she met with this other woman, learned how to drive. A few years later, when I connected with her again, she had her driver's license, her own car, and a full-time job for the first time in her life. It was amazing. So this one was one of the many stories of women that I've worked with over the last 12 years. Domestic violence does come up a lot, and I know a lot of you will already understand that 1 in 3 women live with an experience as an adult of having intimate partner violence. We also work with sexual violence, separation, really poor mental health, women who are just not flourishing in any way of their lives. Kia ora koutou, my name is Ali. I have the privilege of representing Te Wahi Wahine or Tamaki Makaurau tonight as a volunteer. There are so many things that our organisation does, and we're a tiny group of women. So there's 2 full-time employees. We have a low-cost counselling service, a low-cost massage service. We have our women's support service, which I've just told you about. We also run community education programs which work to not only connect women to each other, but also give them some life skills or give them some fun ways in which they can flourish and enjoy their lives. And we do all of this on very, very small funding. One of the absolute privileges is throughout the years I've seen women come through the support groups or through one aspect of the centre and then come back in another realm. So one example is our current tutor for Building a New Life After Separation, which is a workshop for women who've separated. She participated in that workshop 7 years ago. She then kind of started flourishing, got her life together, started moving on from the relationship that she had left. She started training as a mediator. She's now studying law, and she also now facilitates that group. So the group that she got a lot from, she now goes back to. It's beautiful. That is 4 minutes. Okay. So We also do a lot of preventative work. We work within high schools. We have a rangatahi coordinator and a youth coordinator who go into high schools and talk to young men and women about what consent looks like, what healthy relationships look like, what to expect and how to say no and how to say yes. That's really important work. What would your money do for us tonight? So when I said that we don't get a lot of funding, we have a funding gap. Like, we get no government funding. And so everything that we get is jigsawed together. So we apply to a whole lot of different places, and we piece that together to make our services run. We have the amazing Caitlin, who's taken over from me as Women's Support Coordinator and Education Coordinator, and she does all of that: community education, support, counselling, and massage. And we need security so that we can think about paying her long time, not just kind of survive 2 to 3 months at a time. Yeah. So your contribution, if you think about it, we work with thousands of women every year in different ways. If you think about the way in which we work directly with women, which means we work directly with their whānau, their tamariki, we work directly with their communities through this woman. So the ripples spread. Thank you. That is what your funding would go to tonight.